the first pasuk in this week's Parsha, which is Parshas Vayeishev. The Torah introduces us to really the history of the Jewish people. And it says, Vayeishev Yaakov be'eretz megurei aviv. And Yaakov dwelled in the land of his father's sojournings. Be'eretz Canaan, in the land of Canaan. Rashi tells us that according to just a simple understanding of this pasuk, the Torah is telling us what were the dwelling places and the unfolding, the development of events of Yaakov Avinu and his family. But Rashi also brings a midrash in explaining what it means, Vayeishev Yaakov be'eretz megurei aviv. What does it mean, Vayeishev Yaakov? Rashi explains, Bikesh Yaakov leishev b'shalva. Yaakov requested of Hashem that he should be able to sit and dwell, basically live, in tranquility. To understand a little bit of background, where was Yaakov coming from in this request, it'll help. The perspective will help us get an idea of what Yaakov wanted. Yaakov had just come out of an ordeal, a life-threatening ordeal really, with his brother Esau. He just spent 20 years by his uncle Lavan, which was not an easy experience. And on his return from that, he had an incident with his daughter Dinah, where she was raped, and very unfortunate thing to have happened to one's daughter. So finally, after all of these ordeals, this chapter of his life, hopefully he's hoping has come to a close, he asks of Hashem, he asks of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Leishev b'shalva. You want to be able to live in tranquility. And what happens? Rashi explains, Kafat alav rogzel shel Yosef. Right away, a whole new ordeal happens with his son, Yosef, who ends up getting sold as a slave, to make a long story short, by his brothers to Mitzrayim. And this is really the beginning of a tremendous era in Jewish history where the Jews will end up in Mitzrayim. Was there anything wrong with Yaakov's request? Yaakov wanted to live in tranquility. Well, who was Yaakov Avinu? What did he want to do with this? Yaakov Avinu was not looking to start Club Med on the eastern shore of the Mediterranean. Yaakov Avinu was looking to have a tekufa, a period in his life, where he could have uninterrupted focus on Avodas Hashem. This is what we call an appropriate request. And what was his response? What was the response from Hashem? The entire episode with his son Yosef. Meaning, he wasn't granted that wish. Which is a seemingly appropriate thing to ask for. Hashem, I want to serve you. Let me serve you without any distractions, wholeheartedly. And Hashem's response is, no, you're going to have a great ordeal now with your son. What are we supposed to take from this? There's a principle called Lefum Tzara Agra, which means, according to the difficulty, is the reward. Yaakov Avinu had just gone through these ordeals with Esau, with Lavan, and with his daughter Dinah. With Lavan, Yaakov says, Im Lavan Garti, Im Lavan Harasha Garti. With the wicked Lavan I lived, V'taryag mitzvahs shamarti. And the 613 mitzvahs, I was able to fulfill the Torah. Yaakov Avinu was able to persevere in that situation. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu was telling him, there's something more to that. It's good that you persevered, but that That is always a accomplishment one should strive for. But not just for the sake of being able to keep the Torah, but because of this idea of lefum tzara agra. According to the difficulty is the reward. And that reward ultimately is what we will be paid back with in the world to come. And Chazal tell us that one act done in a difficult situation, when it's done, where you have to persevere and overcome the obstacles which are being presented with you, that one act is worth more than 100 acts done when it comes easy. It's the mentality of I won't back down. There's the Torah asking us to do something, no matter what that situation is, our mentality must be, I will not back down. That has to come. You can throw at me all the obstacles you want, but this is the job I have to do, and nothing is going to stop me from doing it. I once heard a story from a college student who said that she went to the death camps in Poland that were used to exterminate the Jews during the Holocaust. And there was a display there of an oven. This oven was not the ones that were used to kill the Jews. This was an oven, a little oven that was used by the Jews living in these camps to make matzah. And this girl said that, her upbringing and the way that she related to matzah was always, she dreaded it. But after seeing this display of what Jews were able to do, what the sacrifice they made in order to eat matzah during Pesach, or even in a concentration camp, they would sacrifice everything in order to be able to fulfill this mitzvah of matzah. She had to change her whole outlook on matzah, her whole attitude. Lefum tzara agra, according to the difficulty, is the reward. And I think that idea is really connected to another idea called mida keneged mida. Why is it that the more difficult the situation is, and our ability to persevere in that situation, that we get more reward? So it's really measure for measure. The more we show how we value the mitzvah, meaning no matter what is going to be thrown at us that might take us away from doing that, that value, it expresses itself in our ability to persevere. And we are paid back with, as a result, mida keneged mida, with greater reward. It's an idea that I thought we should think about, and it's a nice concept to really measure, our own value system. When the going gets tough, what is our response? Do we say, well, I guess I can't do it now, or do we get going? And again, it's that idea of just not backing down. We know it's right, and we have to do it.